Hello. Hi.
We are going to reconvene the special meeting of the Elmont Village Council for clerk treasurer interviews, 12:55, Saturday, January 8th. Welcome, Ms. Northrup.
Well, thank you.
So what we're going to do is, the process we will do is we're going to go around and introduce ourselves. Then we'll give you a chance to give us a summary of some of your experience and what you want to tell us about yourself. And then we have some interview questions for you.
Okay.
I'm Stephen Schneider. This is my second term on council. I took a term off in between, but been attending these meetings for a long time, so I've got a great deal of experience with the village council.
My name is Tim Dyke. I'm the village council president. I was named president last year after Mr. Schneider over there retired after 29 years of service on the village council. And I've been on since 1998.
I'm Mindy Steffler. I'm President Pro Tem as of the last year, and I've been on council for 10 years.
Hi, I'm Bob Miller. Welcome. This is my first term on the council, and I'm enjoying it.
And if you want to give us a quick summary of some of your work experience and whatever else you want to share.
Sure. As you know, my name is Kimberly Northrup. I started my career in municipal government. I started attending meetings at my local township, and then I decided that I wanted to run for township clerk. So I ran for township clerk. I won. And then a little bit into the term, maybe a year or two, our treasurer passed away. So the deputy stepped up. So then I became deputy treasurer too, along with being a clerk. And fast forward 15 years, my father called me and they needed some help at the company. So I decided to move back to the Thumb and take over the duties at the company so that my father could attend to my stepmom. And I was there 6.5 years, and I was like, I just want to get back into municipal government. That is what I like. So I ended up getting on the MML and I started applying for jobs, and I'm currently at the city of Utica. But I just feel like I have so much more knowledge to offer than what I'm doing there. So I'm still on the search. And when I come across this, I was like, clerk, treasurer, that is two of my most passionate things. So here I am today.
Hey, we just had one quick question on your resume under Tri-County Equipment. It said you October 2021 through present.
Yes, as a matter of fact, at Tri-County Equipment, they're family friends of ours. So when I left my dad's, they had a couple people on maternity leave, and they said, Kim, do you mind? Could you come help out while they're gone? And but I'm not there presently.
Okay,
so
that was just a
error.
mistake.
Sorry.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Thank you for clearing that up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to begin with some questions about governance, authority, and professional judgment. Can you tell me about a time that you disagreed with a supervisor, the council, or a board decision, and how you handled it?
As a clerk, our supervisor tended to constantly engage with the public, and that is wrong. And I would constantly slip him notes and say, like, you can't argue with the public when they're up asking questions. You're just supposed to take their notes and get back with them later or whatever. You don't argue back and forth with them.
Talk about during public comment?
During public comment, yes. And I constantly had to slide him notes like, stop, you cannot do this. And he didn't like me for it, but it's the way things are done.
Okay. How do you approach a situation where elected officials want something done that conflicts with your professional recommendation?
I'm not doing it. They have to take it to council and get it approved before I would do it.
All right. Can you describe a time where you were required to follow a decision or a policy that you did not agree with and what the outcome was?
So I don't know that I've ever had that challenge before.
How do you balance offering professional advice while respecting the authority of council and the village president?
Can you say it once more?
Sure. How do you balance offering professional advice while respecting the authority of council and the village president?
Professional. I don't know. That's a tough one. You have to be compassionate about people, but you have to, I don't know. I guess I don't know the answer. I really don't.
These questions are in regards to collaboration and working relationships. Can you tell us a time when you worked effectively under pressure, and what specifically did you do and what was the outcome?
Yeah, there was a time that it was very much pressure. I was my first presidential election, and I did not order enough ballots for the election. And it got close to the end of the night, and we only had a few ballots left, and then I was like, I have to do something. And then I remembered I have a whole test deck of ballots that are unmarked, unused. So I immediately called the county and I said, can I number the ballots at the bottom and use the test deck? And they said, absolutely. So that got me out of a terrible situation. But from that, I learned you really have to look at the percentage of voters that you have and order accordingly.
Can you describe your role on a team when opinions strongly differ?
I like to take in everybody's opinion, and you have to balance them out and decide, maybe I'm the wrong one in the opinions. And you have to listen to everybody's.
How do you work with elected officials who have different personalities, priorities, and level of municipal and governmental experience?
Could you say it one more time?
How do you work with elected officials who have different personalities, priorities, and levels of municipal experience?
With the utmost respect, because everybody has different views on everything.
Also, time you had to repair a strained relationship.
Oh, working at my dad's, there's a lot of strained relationships between drivers, and the best bet is to talk to them one-on-one, and then if you can, bring them both in together and sit down and discuss what the issues are.
What does it mean being a good team member, or what does being a good team member mean when you're in a small staff environment?
Being able to get along with everybody, give everybody else respect, and be able to everybody be able to pitch in and do duties that, like if someone were to step away from their desk, if someone come to the counter, you can do that. You can all be team players.
What do you think will be the hardest part of this job, and what part do you think will be the easiest?
Oh, I definitely think that the clerk's portion would be the easiest. I know that the most. And the hardest, I think, would just be getting to know all of your ordinances and being able to help the residents with that aspect of it.
And how do you handle wearing many hats in a position where priorities can change quickly?
But I'm a good multitasker, so that's not a problem for me.
Okay.
Okay.
I have a few questions about conflict resolution and communication.
Okay.
Walk us through a conflict you had with a coworker or supervisor and how it was resolved.
Had lots of conflicts with workers. And mostly, they just want to be listened to. You bring them in, you talk to them, and a lot of things can be resolved over just listening to them and hearing what their problems are. They just want to be heard a lot of times.
Do you have a specific example you can share with us?
We've had drivers complain, this is a major one. Why does someone get the easy route and I get the long one? And to be honest, the person who got the longer route was the person that we trusted the most. And I sat down and explained that to him because the guy with the short route, you know, we valued that. The guy with the long route, we valued so much that we trusted him with that. And after I explained it to him, how we valued him, he took it in a totally different, not like I'm being punished doing the more work.
Mm-hmm. Okay. How do you handle conflict when emotions are high or meetings become tense?
That's a tough one because there's some heated meetings. You just have to remain professional and not engage and argue with the people, the residents, the community that are causing the conflict or whatever, or even if it's the board, you don't argue, and that's not going to get you anywhere.
Describe a time that you had to deliver information that was unpopular or unwelcome.
That's never good. You just have to be professional about it. Again, letting someone go or telling them that they're not doing their job well, I think is definitely, you have to take them in confidence and explain that to them. And a lot of times you need somebody else with you if it is telling someone that they're not doing their job well, or if you have to let someone go, it's best to have another person in the room with you, not just you and that person.
And this is something that you've had to do
Mhm.
in your capacity as a clerk treasurer, or was this more on the private
We had
side?
to do that in the township.
Okay.
And it was people
describe
on the
that?
planning commission. They were absolutely not doing their job how they should have been doing it. And after we attended quite a few of the planning meetings and realized how they were running the planning commission, it shouldn't have been never done like that. Yep.
Well, welcome, Ms. Northrop.
Thank you.
I have a few questions of feedback, accountability, and adaptability.
Okay.
Tell me about feedback you received that you didn't agree with, and what did you do?
I have gotten feedback before as the township clerk that they feel that you're being unfair, but when you tell them that these are the laws and this is what you have to abide by, sometimes you can get through to residents, and sometimes they think that you're just being unfair and they want what they want from you, and you cannot just give them certain things or certain information because it's just not allowed.
Describe a time you had to change your approach after realizing something wasn't working.
Currently at my job, we all sit out in the open, so sometimes that is hard. We don't have offices or anything like that, so I sit next to a few people that like to talk all the time, and it's hard to get your work done. So now I simply talk to them instead of just ignoring it and letting it go. Like if I'm on the phone or something like that, before I would just be like, shh. Well, then I had to ask them. And sometimes they don't like me for it, but you can't concentrate on your work if you have all this loud noise in your background. So I had to confront the people, and sometimes they just don't like it. But I mean, and I do it in the utmost nicest way possible, but
Excuse me. How do you ensure accountability, both for yourself and others without creating friction.
Accountability, everybody has to be accountable for their daily jobs, and they have to be getting done. And usually, everybody knows that, so, but if they're not doing their jobs, even if I'm not doing my job, I hope that someone would bring it to my attention and sit down and talk to me about it and make sure that I'm meeting the deadlines. And if I was the one that had to make sure someone else met their deadlines, I would have to have a discussion with them and make sure that everybody's on track and doing their jobs and meeting the deadlines. Mhm.
I'm going to ask some questions about clerk responsibilities.
Okay.
Can you describe your experience with council meetings, agendas, packets, minutes?
Well, I was a clerk, so I had to prepare the agendas for the meetings, had to do all the minutes for the meetings, and I always made sure that I had the minutes done within the next day or the following day, because the more time you take to do them, the less fresh they are in your mind. So
Okay. What about the meetings themselves?
the meetings, well, I was a voting member on the meetings, so that it was kind of hard to take the notes and listen to everybody and.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you describe your experience with record keeping, filing systems, or document management?
Very good at creating folders, putting them in a specific spot on the computer so that I know exactly where to go to them. And the record management, I mean, I'm sure you guys are not paperless or anything like that, so you got a nice filing system.
Okay. Can you, how do you ensure compliance with the Michigan Open Meetings Act?
You know the laws and you make sure that all the council people are abiding by them.
What steps do you take to maintain accurate and defensible public records?
Make sure that everything, well, you definitely have to review everything to make sure that you have everything correct and is ready for the next meeting the minutes to be passed, and make sure they're up on the website and for everybody in a timely manner.
Okay. How do you handle FOIA requests, especially complex or sensitive ones?
Sometimes it depends on how complex they are, you might have to ask for more time. But you have your 20 days, so you immediately get to it and make sure that they have all the proper information before you can even call it a FOIA request.
This role will require attendance at evening meetings or occasional after-hours work. Is that manageable for you?
Yes, my kids are grown and it's just me and my husband, so that's not a problem at all.
These are some questions regarding treasurer responsibilities. Can you describe your experience with municipal budgeting, accounting, or financial reporting?
As a township clerk, I did the budget, so I definitely know how the budget works. And as a treasurer portion of it, I do all the general ledger entering and all the tax collections and all the tax disbursements. Say it once more, I think
Yeah.
that I got it all.
Just describe your experience with municipal budgeting, accounting, and financial reporting.
And then I've helped with at the end of the year, finance reports, monthly reports.
How do you ensure accuracy and internal controls in a small governmental setting?
Double checking the work. One person's doing the work, the next person is overseeing the work.
Can you tell us about your experience with audits and working with external auditors?
As the clerk, I was the one that did the audit, not the treasurer, which I thought was very strange. And the auditors would come in and spend a couple days, and I would have to dig out documents all day long. But, I mean, that is more, at the role I'm at now, that is the treasurer's position, to help with auditors and submit all the stuff to the auditors.
How do you handle financial decisions when there are competing priorities or limited resources?
Some of those things you have to get the 3-quote process too on a lot of things to make sure that the city's getting the best for their money. And if the money's not there, the money's not there. You can't spend money you don't have.
Thank you.
Okay, back over to me. I have questions about ethics, professionalism, and public service. How do you maintain professionalism when dealing with difficult residents or public criticism?
Residents, on one hand, I believe 9 times out of 10, they just want to be heard. They want someone to listen to them. And most of the time after you listen to them, they're okay. They just want to vent to somebody. And criticism, I do like criticism because it tells me that I'm not doing something how I should and I really need to work on myself.
Describe a time when you had to uphold policy or law despite pressure to do otherwise.
At our township, we had a township park, and we weren't allowed to hold, there was sanctioned ball leagues that wanted to use our park. We weren't insured for that, and our insurance company made it clear that we were not allowed to do that. We had one member on the board that his daughter played on this league, and he, at no end, these kids were going to play ball there. Well, it was okay if you were just playing recreational ball, but it was not okay for the sanctioned ball in private, whatever they had going on. And it caused a big conflict at a meeting, and they argued with me over it several times, and I'm like, you have to listen to the insurance company because we are not insured for situations like that. And he was not very happy with me, and he treated me terrible after that. But then at the end of his term, he realized, it was the right thing to do. But you can't use your personal agenda for government work.
Sure. What does ethical leadership mean to you in local government?
You have to stick by what your beliefs are, and you can't let someone that wants to do something wrong deter you from that or take their side. You have to uphold the law and what is right.
How do you believe that the Village of Elmont can help you to reach your village goals, your career goals?
I think that this is it's the two things that I'm most passionate about, the clerk and the treasurer. That's why I applied for the position, because it's both the things that I have knowledge in and both the things that I love to do.
Tell us about a time you thought you went above and beyond the call of duty. What was the situation? What did you do? And what was the outcome?
Did a lot of things that are not on your plate that you do, because you hold so many hats and you pick up the slack wherever you can. But at my current job, our clerk is new, and there was a resident that wanted to run for a seat on the council, and he wanted to pay the money instead of get the petitions. And she told him, you absolutely cannot do that. And I didn't mean to step on no boundaries, but I said to her, maybe you should reconsider telling him that, because if the charter doesn't say that he can't, the law says he can. And after this, she was very grateful to me, but I said to her, I don't want to cross the boundaries with you, but she did, acknowledge that, very helpful. And then after that, she had several times during the last election asked me certain questions that she didn't know because she hasn't had any training yet.
Our clerk treasurer is exposed to sensitive information. Could you describe the importance of discretion in this position?
Yes, it has to be secured at all times, and it should be in a locked file cabinet, and it should not be out for everybody else to see ever, never.
How do you ensure transparency and accountability when managing public funds?
Honesty. You have to be honest. You have to keep great books, and you have to let the council know every expenditure, everything that you make. It has to be reported back to somebody.
Have you ever faced an ethical dilemma related to finances? How did you handle it?
Can't say that I have.
How would you respond if a resident questioned how village money was spent?
Are they coming to a meeting or are they coming to me?
I could-
I mean, I would direct them probably to come to a meeting, most definitely, because if not, I mean, if they're just asking a question about who you paid to do something, that's one thing, but if they're questioning projects that are being done, they definitely need to come to council and have them explain.
What controls do you believe are essential to prevent misuse of funds?
But the checks and balances.
Hi, these are some of the closing questions, some of them.
Okay.
What do you hope to accomplish in your first year as clerk treasurer?
I definitely want to get to know the ordinances and how the village is run, mostly, because if you have all the aspects and knowledge of the ordinances and how everything works here, that makes you a lot more successful at your job.
What support or resources would help you succeed in this role?
The help of the office staff, the help of like the village manager, the council, and having the information readily available so that I could review it and study and spend extra time doing those things too, not like during when I'm supposed to be doing work at work.
And do you have any questions for us?
Is that all? Am I back on the?
No, there's still more.
Oh, okay.
Just a few.
Are we going back to the other side? I did see that you guys share a lot of services with the township, and I thought that was kind of unique. Financially, how does that work between the two?
I think the shared services would be the fire department, which is under an entire millage of the villages. Village residents are township residents. Township residents that live outside of the village are not village residents. So for the fire department, there's an entire township assessment for fire department millage that is paid. But the fire department falls under the jurisdiction of the township board and not the village council. The village owns the police department. They're under our budget. They're under our control, our jurisdiction. We contract services to the township for police services.
Correct.
But the township board does not have any jurisdiction over decisions made in the running of the police department.
Correct. It's a services contract.
Services contract.
So it's essentially we discuss the services that are provided and the financing of it.
Okay.
And there's been different various periods. Sometimes it's been a 3-year contract. This most previous year was a 1-year contract.
Oh, okay.
So it changes from time to time how long of a period we contract for.
Kim also had some input too.
We also share this building with the township. So half is village, half is township. So there is a lot of communication that goes across
Back and forth,
the
like,
Iowa, I guess you could say.
and I did see you share your assessor. So is he in the building, like back and forth, or,
He's here only 2 days a week,
so you just,
but he's the
But-
township assessor.
and the okay,
Yeah.
so works as,
Because, yeah, again, all assessments are at a township
Township.
level, and every village resident is a township resident, right?
Right.
So it's the
Okay.
township's assessor, essentially, yes.
okay. That was one of the things I found, like, a little confusing. I was like,
It is a little
That's-
confusing.
Yeah.
Village residents pay village taxes and township taxes.
oh, so they get the double.
Correct.
And township,
Okay.
and township residents outside the village
Pay
are only township
township.
residents and only pay township taxes.
Okay. And how does your DPW work then? It's not you, it's
It's only us,
It's only
so
us.
the DPW is only the village?
correct. There is no such equivalent service for the township.
Okay, just,
Water and sewer service only in the village with certain entities outside contracting water services to us. But the township the township board has no control over our water system or the wastewater treatment plant.
They not only don't have any control, they have no use or access to it either, right? It's only inside of the village. All of our water systems are only inside of the village.
okay,
Only village citizens pay for it, and only village council has control over those departments.
very unique. Very Okay. I did want, how long has your deputy been here?
Several years, 5
She's
years.
very knowledgeable.
Yes.
Okay. Why are you leaving? Are you retiring?
I wish.
Okay.
Well, I was here for almost 14 years. I did plan on retiring from here, but a better opportunity came across my desk that I couldn't.
Yep.
Right.
Okay. I was going to say congratulations on a retirement, but.
I wish. Not yet.
Okay. And is the council readily available to me to ask questions if I was selected for the position? Is there a go-to, like, do I come to you, the president?
First communication would be to the president.
Okay, and then from there,
Yeah.
like, okay,
It's pretty much, I mean, and so obviously the council members are obviously free to reach out to village staff and primarily through village manager on an as-needed basis, and there's regular communication between staff and council. But if there's specific issues, it's pretty much always primarily been through the village president himself directly as liaison, essentially, interpoint person, absolutely.
But you fall under the jurisdiction of the manager
Mhm.
for day-to-day operations.
right, yes.
Correct.
And are you available if residents come in, or do they make appointments with you? Just,
I'm here pretty much all the hours the village is open. Yes.
just because at first I won't have the faintest clue of some of the day-to-day things that people ask about.
We have an excellent front office staff that will help as well.
Any other questions of us?
I think that was, most everything, you can read online, like you do serve as all the minute taker for all the meetings. All that stuff is basic information that I've looked at. The township thing had me a little puzzled.
Yeah, your day-to-day operation would be to the village. You communicate with the township, but it's on a minimal basis.
That was just how you guys tied together, I guess.
Sure. You've mentioned having both township and village experience a little bit before. Can you explain to me what you see as the key differences between serving in a position with a township versus a village?
Township is an elected position, and a village is you're appointing somebody.
Sure, but aside from the hiring process, the experience of working in either, what were the differences that you experienced in doing either?
The work is pretty much the same. It's just the guidelines of, the ordinances and things like that you can do in certain communities that you can't do in different communities. But the job is pretty much it's the same across the board.
Can you explain what you know about the Village of Almont's governance structure, or challenges, or recent initiatives?
Besides all your minutes that I've read online, and I do notice you guys have a homecoming. That must be something absolutely significant to you. I mean, they meet all the time, I noticed, in their minutes, so I thought that was obviously a great significance to the village.
From a financial standpoint, we've been provided with pretty regularly reporting from Ms. Kiesler. What types of reports do you provide regularly?
The city only meets monthly, so at that point, I have to run all the reports for the paid invoices, the not paid invoices, and then open and closed invoices for the council packet.
And what process improvements or modernization initiatives have you implemented in previous positions?
I started out in government, we used ledger books that were handwritten. And then we got to go to BSNA, which was the best thing in the world.
To give you a little background, because the village is the only municipality that participates in the water and sewer systems, we have had for a long time a lot of complaints about those costs, and since it's a regular issue that we have. So to give you a bit of a scenario, let's say that a resident becomes confrontational during public comment time about a utility bill that they believe is incorrect. How do you handle this both during the meeting and after?
And are they directing it to me or to the council?
Let's assume, for the sake of the hypothetical, it's to you.
To me, I would definitely ask them to please come and see me after the meeting or after, and we would look up the bill. I would never say nothing on the spot because you don't have the documents in front of you to see what they're talking about.
I think that, yeah, that's it. That's all.
If you're in a position, what's your expectancy of how long you think you'd be in the position?
This is what I'm passionate about, so this is where I would stay.
Once you come into the position and get familiar with the way things are running, what do you think your ability would be with your other previous experience to improve upon some of the bring changes of improvement to some of the different things that we do, like the practices, different working practices, etc.
I'm not really sure how you guys do your things. I run a lot of Excel spreadsheets and things like that BSNA don't offer. So I don't know if that's something you guys do or that would be helpful to the village. Again, I don't know how you guys do your day-to-day.
You said your clerking was a strength, but right now you're in the treasury part of it. So coming back to the clerking, how do you think regaining the clerking skills how you'll handle that? And can you kind of give us a background on some of your clerking education?
I've been to the Michigan Township Association for the conferences. That's been some of it. A lot of it had to be self-taught because as elected, you just step in and you have to learn a lot. I don't think I really ever lost the majority of the knowledge. I've had, where I work now, a clerk that doesn't know, and a couple times, I've said to her, I don't want to overstep my boundaries, but here are a couple things that I know that might help you, but going to the conferences is a definite help and a refresher to the knowledge, or even your local clerks meetings. That is very helpful.
You mentioned in this interview that it'll take you, obviously you're gonna have to come up to speed a little bit, but budget time is right
Around the corner.
So,
Yep.
With that said, what's your expectation on being able to get up to speed and also be helpful, be able to prepare for the budget?
That I don't think will be a problem at all. I think it's more like getting to know your ordinances and things like that, and how, where the village ends, where the township is, what happens there. The financial part would not be a problem at all.
How are your IT skills?
Pretty good.
Can you give us some examples?
Well, it's not like I'm out fixing computers or anything like that, but I know my way around BSNA really well, and Outlook, Microsoft programs, all of that quite well, so.
If you were offered the position, when could you start?
Respectfully, I would like to give my job 2 weeks' notice, but there are people there that can do my job. So if it was something that was immediate, I wouldn't be leaving them hanging. So,
2 weeks is standard.
yeah, just respectful, I would want someone to do that for me.
Correct. Okay, thank you.
So in your current position, how much cross-training is there or has been?
None.
How do you feel about that?
Where I'm at right now, everybody has their jobs, and that's that, and that's what we do. We don't, the girl at the counter can definitely take a tax payment, but they will not allow her to. I have to go to the counter, take a tax payment. Utility bills, I know my way around BSNA utility billing all day long. I cannot take a payment for a utility. Everybody you stay in your lane. That's what they always say. Stay in your lane. And it's really not the way that it should work, because everybody should be a team player. Everybody should be able to help out, or simple things like that. We both know how to do the cash counter, so you should be able to take those payments. And you shouldn't turn a resident away because someone's not at their desk to take the payment.
Do you have anything else for us? Any questions?
I just like to say thanks, you guys, for taking your time on a Saturday. That's very, very generous of you guys.
One, we're glad to do it, and two, it's part of our responsibility.
Well, I know that, but
Then we will conclude this interview. Thank you for
thank
your
you
time
guys so
today. We
much.
appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
We're still live, right?
Yeah, it's okay. It's fine.
So do you get to go have dinner with Melissa tomorrow? Is that your usual Sunday procedure?
Have your own key?
You have to make sure he behaves.
Ah,
It's a two-way street. With the amount of times he loses his own keys, I'm not handing out mine.
So he always finds them.
Saying he does would be the inaccurate part of that statement, but they do get found.
All right.
We need to officially adjourn, correct?
Yes, if we're not discussing.
We are adjourned.
Okay, thank you.